Welcome back to another episode of Law Ke Baad Kya, a series where we explore different career paths which are available to law graduates beyond the traditional routes of practice in judiciary. ये एक ऐसी सीरीज हमने स्टार्ट की है जिसमें हम डिफरेंट करियर ऑप्शंस लॉ ग्रेजुएट्स के लिए लेकर आते हैं जिन्होंने इन करियर्स को अचीव कर लिया है। हम उनसे उनके जो जो उन्होंने एक रूट और जो उन्होंने उस करियर को अचीव किया है वो कैसे अचीव किया और उसके क्या क्या बेनिफिट्स रहे और किस तरीके से उन्होंने उस रूट को अचीव किया, हम वो सारी चीज़ें इन सीरीज में डिस्कस करते हैं। एंड I have seen that, many of the law graduates, they have often come, they often come and ask me कि मैम एलएलबी के बाद हमारे पास क्या क्या ऑप्शंस है। सो अगर आपके माइंड में भी ये सवाल है कि एलएलबी के बाद क्या क्या ऑप्शंस हैं आपके पास इन करियर, then this episode is for you because today I have a very special guest who will answer exactly that. So Arushi was once a student at EJ Law Academy, and on the very last day of her coaching, she gave me the wonderful news that she had qualified as law researcher at the Punjab and Haryana High Court. So this is a role many of you might have heard about. आप सबने इस रोल के बारे में, इस करियर के बारे में सुना होगा, बट बहुत कम ऐसे बच्चे हैं जो जानते हैं कि इस करियर को हम कैसे अचीव कर सकते हैं, क्या मेथड है इसको अप्लाई करने के लिए, क्या इसका हाउ टू गेट देयर. So that is what today Arushi is going to share with all of us, her journey, her preparation, and give all of you an insider's view into what it means to be a law researcher. So, Arushi, first of all, welcome to the series of Law Ke Baad Kya. Let's
Good
start
evening, ma'am.
by
Thank you.
understanding what exactly a law researcher does and why this is such a good opportunity for a fresh law graduate. So, welcome once again, Arushi.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so Arushi, we'll start right away with, I want you to please tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came across this opportunity of becoming a law researcher.
Okay. So my name is Arushi Sood, and I completed my BLLB from Army Institute of Law, Mohali in 2019. Then I did my master's LLM in family law from Amity University, Noida in 2021, whereafter I started working with a senior advocate at Punjab and Haryana High Court. After working for 6 months, I joined MAM's Academy, of Efficacious Judicial Law Academy, where I was preparing for judiciary exams, and I attended the classes for one whole year. And when I completed the classes in 2023, there were no exams or judicial exams that were being conducted. There were no notifications that were out. So instead of sitting at home, one of my friends was working as a law researcher at Punjab and Haryana High Court. So there I came to know about a vacancy that was created in the court where she was working. So I applied there, and there were two of us, and there was only one position. I was there on trial for a week, after which the other candidate was selected, and I couldn't make it. But there's a different process also through which you can apply. So then I applied at the department, and I was called on for an interview, I think a week later. And ever since then, I was working as a law researcher at the High Court.
Acha, great. So basically, it was through word of mouth. And
Initially, yes, ma'am, but the second, in the court where I was selected, there's a different department that carries out the process of selection. So you have to go and submit your CVs there along with a cover letter, and then the judge, whoever requires law researchers at their court, they call on for all the CVs. So then out of those CVs, candidates are shortlisted and called for interview. So when I was
acha,
called
great.
for the interview for the second time, there were three of us, and there was only one post. And on the basis of the interview, one of us was selected, and that was me.
Oh, that is wonderful, wonderful. And which department did you apply?
So, ma'am, the process at Punjab and Haryana High Court is that there is a branch called dispatch branch where you have to submit your CV along with a cover letter, which is then sent to the establishment one branch. So in
Okay.
the establishment one branch, there is a particular ma'am who oversees all the process. She is like the human resources for law research, the HR department. So she oversees everything, and then she's the one who gives us the contract and for extension and everything. So we
अच्छा.
are supposed to be in direct communication with her, and then she forwards our CVs as and when they're called on to by different courts.
अच्छा. Great, great. So is this process same throughout the country
No,
or it
ma'am.
varies? Hmm.
It varies from high court to high court. I'm not aware about other high courts, but I know that for Rajasthan High Court, there's a proper notification that is taken out and there are vacancies published. And for those vacancies, I think there's a written exam and then an interview is conducted. But for Punjab and Haryana High Court, there is no requirement of a written exam. There's only interview with the learned judge before whom whoever calls us for the interview.
Okay, so the process of getting into this job of law researcher is that you have to keep an eye on the vacancy, probably through जब भी आपकी कुछ notifications निकले तो उस पे आपको ध्यान देना पड़ेगा कि कब लॉ
Yes,
रिसर्चर
ma'am.
की नोटिफिकेशन निकल रही है आपके रिस्पेक्टिव स्टेट्स में. इज
हाँ
दैट
जी,
राइट?
जैसे yes ma'am, and in Punjab and Haryana High Court there's no official notification, but usually there's a notification in the bar and bench website or on live law app, so candidates can keep an eye out on those platforms also to know when there's any vacancy coming up.
ग्रेट. ऑल राइट. एंड जैसे आपने कहा कि सीवी आपने सबमिट किया,
Yes ma'am.
सो वॉज देयर समथिंग एक्सेप्शनल रिक्वायर्ड, मतलब जो आपका सीवी को सिलेक्ट करने का जो प्रोसेस है उसमें एक्सेप्शनली कुछ एक क्वालिफिकेशन रिक्वायर्ड है, कोई एलिजिबिलिटी है, या फिर डायरेक्टली एलएलबी करने के बाद स्टूडेंट्स अप्लाई कर सकते हैं?
Ma'am, directly after LLB students can apply. There is no additional requirement, at least in this high court.
ओके.
You don't even have to be enrolled as an advocate to
ओह.
apply here. Hanji. But you need to have completed your BLLB. You should have that degree, but it's not compulsory for you to be enrolled as an advocate.
अच्छा, दैट्स वंडरफुल. सो
Hanji. So
डायरेक्टली आपके एलएलबी के बाद आप अप्लाई कर सकते हो, इट इज एन
yes, ma'am.
अपॉर्चुनिटी. अच्छा.
Yes, ma'am.
ऑल राइट, ऑल राइट. एंड इन द इंटरव्यू?
Ma'am, interview, there were no law questions per se that was asked, very basic questions. So the interview actually is no set format of the interview. Like for judiciary exams, the interviews are mostly about laws and upcoming or the latest judgments. But nothing like that here. In the two interviews that I appeared for, they mostly wanted to know about our personal not life, but where do we stay? How will we commute from our place? Because I at that time was my permanent address was of Himachal, so that was a concern for the judge that how will you live here? But now that I have shifted, by that time I had shifted to Mohali, so that I explained it to him, and basically timings are also discussed in the interview because even there's no official timings as such for a law researcher. So when I
ओके.
was working, I used to reach the court at 9:15 and the court would start at 10 a.m. and on an average I used to leave at around 8:30 because we had to prepare case briefs and we had to work with the judge, so that would usually take time till 8:30. So that could be a point of concern for some candidates, maybe who are living in PGs or who come from faraway places. So that was what sir had asked me about, that are you comfortable with these timings or not. There
ओके.
was
ओके.
no law question as such. Though I had prepared for the law questions because you need to be prepared for everything, but I cannot say about all the judges. But for the two interviews that I appeared for, there was hardly any law related questions.
Okay. So basically, I feel that it will depend from high courts to high courts, and
Yes, ma'am.
a student should be overall मतलब जो भी आपके LLB के लिए जो required knowledge है, that basic knowledge
Yes,
should
ma'am,
that
definitely.
child should have.
Basic knowledge, and also one more question. my lord had asked me was how is your researching skills? Do you have a strong grasp of SCC, Manupatra, live law? So that also, I think one candidate, while they are interning probably, or while they're in college, or otherwise also should hone that particular skill, research skills, because that is what is required out of a law researcher to
Absolutely.
conduct researches. I think as someone who wants to work as a law researcher, they should have a strong grasp of these legal databases, along with language and drafting skills. Because
Okay, so three
there were
things you
times
mentioned: drafting, research, and
research and
language.
legal language. Yes, ma'am.
Language. Okay.
Though these skills you will also learn and you can also hone while working as a law researcher, but it would be beneficial if you already have a strong grasp on them, because there's always more and more you can learn when you're working with an esteemed judge, when you're observing advocates in court proceedings. So the basic knowledge one should have,
Yes.
one
So
should
basically,
possess.
I feel that the eligibility for the law researcher is good command on language, the drafting skill, and researching skills, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. And how often are these opportunities rolled out? कब ये advertise होती हैं आरुषि ये opportunities हैं?
मैम एटलीस्ट फॉर पंजाब एंड हरियाणा हाई कोर्ट ऐसे एज सच एडवर्टाइज नहीं होती हैं. देयर इज नो ऑफिशियल नोटिफिकेशन एज आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू. But one, you can keep an eye out on live law, bar and bench. वहाँ पे आती हैं. One can contact me because I am a part of that group where they
Mm-hmm.
keep on taking out the law researchers themselves. They ask if anyone is interested in applying, if there's a vacancy in so and so court. And usually, when a new judge joins the Punjab and Haryana High Court, then lots of vacancies are created. Like recently, I think in the starting of this month, there were 6, 7 judicial officers who were elevated from district courts to the High Court. So at that
Mm-hmm.
time, there were lots of vacancies that were created. I think some might still be available. So if anyone wants to know about any upcoming vacancies, they can contact me also. That is not an issue.
That is very sweet and मतलब बहुत ही helpful रहेगा I'm sure to all our students
Mm.
out there.
Yes,
Yes, thanks for that helping hand, Arushi.
no
But
problem,
then
ma'am.
yes, and so basically they have to have a good network and they have to keep an eye on the notifications that are rolled out. And जभी भी
Yes,
new
ma'am.
judges जो है elevate होंगे या कभी भी induct होंगे, that is the
ट्रांसफर
time when,
होंगे.
yes, transfers होंगे, that is the time when these vacancies. Okay, so what about how is the typical day in the life of a law researcher?
So as I already told you, my day started at 9:15 because there were time. So my lord used to reach court at 9:30 usually. So we were required to reach court before him. And sometimes there was some research work that he had given us, or some judgments that he wanted us to take a printout of for the cases that were being listed today. So for that, we had to reach by 9:15, and then we would submit our research, and my lord would give us some work or some research work, and the court would start at 10 a.m. dot. And usually the court timings, the court used to rise at around 4:35. That was the average timings, depending on how many cases were listed before my lord. And then he would discuss the cases with us, discuss our research, whatever work we had done from 10 to 4 p.m. because we were sitting in the court and observing the court proceedings as well. And there were times when we were asked to give a particular judgment in the court while the court was working. So in the middle of it, so you need to sort of be present in the court and work on your research as well. And after the court used to rise, we would wait for the files to come, files which were the cases which would be listed tomorrow, to prepare our briefs and discuss the cases with my lord. So, and the day would used to end at around 7:38, and we could only leave after my lord left.
Okay.
So
So I'm sure
9:30
in
to
between
30.
breaks तो होंगे आरुषि.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. 11:30 there used to be tea break. Then 1 o'clock there was lunch break. 5 o'clock we used to, matlab after once the court had risen, then we could roam around. Matlab not roam around, but go and basically go and have a walk because you were sitting for such long duration. And after
Mhm.
4 o'clock, we did not have to sit in the court till eight
Mhm.
o'clock. But if there was no work, we could go around.
Acha, great. I've seen, some students also are working as law researchers, but during the break times, they are preparing for judiciary.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can utilize that time for
Definitely.
any other preparation or whatever work you want to do. And is this job of law researcher also will also help you to qualify judicial services examination in case you have that long-term goal?
Yes, ma'am,
That's
definitely. Yes, ma'am, because every day you're conducting research, you're researching on different laws, you're researching on latest judgments, which I think which comes in the pre-exams, not mains, and latest judgments. Like I'll just give you a very short example. Something that happened with me when I was preparing for the Himachal Pradesh judicial examination in which is conducted in March.
Mhm.
So there was lots of judgments regarding bail and anticipatory bail that I had worked on while my tenure as a law researcher. And those
Mhm.
judgments, because you're reading them every week, every second week, so you tend to retain those judgments. These were also the judgments which had come in pre-examination.
Great.
So I remembered the crux of the judgment. I even could even recall the years, even if they were not given. So this definitely would help a candidate who is preparing for judicial examination, and not only for pre but for mains also in judgment writing.
Yes,
Be-
absolutely.
because because you're sitting in the court, you're observing the judge, you're observing advocates, and l- luckily we are privy to the thought process of the judge, what all
Absolutely.
points he considers, what all uh, things he takes into consideration while forming an opinion, while giving a judgment. So that would also help a candidate in his mains examination. And by giving research memos to the judge, we are also working on our drafting skills, on our answer writing skills. And
Absolutely.
this is for the main examination. And for English, for example, pressy writing. So preparing case briefs is nothing but pressy writing, because you
Mhm.
have to read a full file and then make a brief note of half a page. So that is what pressy writing is. So that would also help a candidate in his English mains exam. And for
Great.
interview, I think it would also help because you get the confidence to present your points in front of a judge, in front of a high court judge. That takes lots of um, confidence,
Courage.
courage, sorry, yes, courage to present your points, to present your thought process to the judge. So that would help a candidate in his interview stage, where they would have that confidence to give the answers, basically present his himself in a way that would probably help in getting him selected.
तो आई कैन से इट्स अ कंप्लीट पैकेज.
Yes, ma'am,
मतलब आप
definitely.
एलएलबी करके सीधा लॉ रिसर्चर ज्वाइन करो और साथ साथ में जुडिशरी की भी तैयारी करो, और जो फिनिशिंग पार्ट है वो लॉ रिसर्चर ही आपको, जो ये जॉब है वो ही आपका फिनिशिंग पार्ट कर देता है इन एग्जाम्स के लिए. एंड आई
Yes,
फील
ma'am.
इट इज जस्ट नॉट जुडिशरी, इट इज एनी अदर एग्जाम. इवन इफ यू वांट टू गिव सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑन रिकॉर्ड, तो वो एग्जाम
Yes,
भी
ma'am.
इतना एग्जाम है. और ये जो आपका लॉ रिसर्चर का टेन्योर रहेगा जिसमें आपको इतना एक्सपोजर मिलेगा, दैट विल आल्सो हेल्प यू ओपन अप ऑल अदर अपॉर्चुनिटीज अपार्ट फ्रॉम जुडिशरी.
Yes,
एंड
ma'am.
बिकॉज अभी 3 साल तो एलिजिबिलिटी जो क्राइटेरिया है टू अपेयर फॉर द जुडिशल एग्जामिनेशन दैट हैज बीन पोस्टपोन्ड. 3 साल प्रैक्टिस, बट इट नोटिफिकेशन में ये भी मेंशन है कि अगर एक कैंडिडेट लॉ रिसर्चर का जॉब कर रहा है, तो दैट इज काउंटेड एज प्रैक्टिस. सो
Yes, ma'am.
दैट इज,
3 years.
yes, and I'm sure you're being paid also, Arushi.
Yes, ma'am. So
Yes, so
the
talk about
so
remuneration. Yes.
yes, ma'am. So in Punjab and Haryana High Court, we are paid 55,000 rupees a month for uh, a law researcher is paid 55,000 rupees a month, and these are just the monetary remuneration. And the perks that we get are that we get all closed holidays or public holidays until unless the judge requires us to come to the court. That is a different case. Paid leaves we get. We get the June vacation, December, Diwali, Dashera, all the breaks we get paid. And we also get 8 days of paid leave over and above these vacations in a year.
Wow. Wow.
So,
So, and the networking with judges and
and with,
exposure to sit with senior judges,
yes,
right?
ma'am,
So that is a cherry on the cake.
definitely, yes, ma'am.
Yes. So just imagine that you are just finishing your LLB और LLB करने के बाद आप डायरेक्टली लॉ रिसर्चर ज्वाइन करते हो, आपको 50,000 डायरेक्टली आपकी पॉकेट मनी भी है, और साथ साथ में आप जुडिशरी भी पढ़ रहे हो और तैयारी कर रहे हो लॉन्ग टर्म, एंड यू आर ऑल्सो बीइंग पेड, एंड विथ यू आर enjoying so many perks along with it. So
Yes,
that
ma'am,
is such a
definitely.
great opportunity. Wow,
We also
wonderful.
get access to judges' library, which is not open to common public or to advocates. So that is also one of the perks that
Another
a law
perk.
researcher gets.
यस 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 एंड आरुषि, एज अभी हम लोग जब बात भी कर रहे थे, आपने मेंशन किया कि अगेन यू आर बीइंग इंडक्टेड एज अ लॉ रिसर्चर वंस यू हैव ऑलरेडी फिनिश्ड, एंड
Yes,
यू
ma'am.
विल बी ज्वाइनिंग टुमारो. So
Yes,
that
ma'am.
shows that how excellent your work would have been, that आपको दोबारा से called for the law researcher. So that's
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. And I'm sure कि जब आप एक law researcher, when you're working as a law researcher, there's tremendous growth. You grow
Yes, ma'am,
every day,
definitely.
right? And it helps you in preparing for judiciary and also gives you the exposure. Exposure के साथ साथ आप खुद भी जो है, आपके analytical skills भी जो है enhance होते हैं. So any
That is,
advice that you would
yes,
like
ma'am.
to give to the law students or the fresh graduates
Uh,
who want to
yes,
apply
ma'am.
for this
So,
job?
yes, ma'am. So, my only piece of advice to them would be to be open to learning. When you get the opportunity to work as a law researcher with a judge who has so many years of experience, you need to be able to extract everything that you can from him. All the experience that he has gained, all the learnings that he is giving, you need to be open to accept it and then implement it in your life also. So
Great.
I think one is to stay open, stay curious, to learn, and always never feel that, oh, I've worked for 1 year now, I know everything that I could learn from this job. No, every day there are times when I joined as a law researcher. At that time we had the criminal roster. So criminal law everyone has studied in their LLB or during their judicial preparation, but that is only theoretical knowledge. Once you sit in the court, once you start observing the proceedings, then you find out how the law is applied, and for that you need to stay curious and stay open to learning.
Hmm.
And I started with a criminal roster, then we had the writs roster, which is a service law matters. So service law, I think, as a subject, not most of us know about, because at least in my college there was no subject for service law. But once I started working and started reading the judgments, then I got to know, oh, there's a different aspect to the law. It's not only limited to civil law, criminal law, family law, IPR. So I think working as a law researcher also opens many avenues for you, where you
Absolutely.
get lots of exposure.
Hmm.
You, while sitting in the court, even if you're not doing any work, just observing senior advocates, how they argue, how they present their case, the art of advocacy, the art of drafting the pleadings, everything you can learn while sitting in the court. You don't have to spend extra time while you're preparing your case briefs. At that time when you read the files, you you find out, oh, this is a very important judgment that the advocate has cited. So the judge that I worked for, he gave me a very good point that when you're reading a file, always keep a notebook open with you. If you find any judgment on a particular law, just note it down. You don't have to remember it. Just keep that notebook with you, and in no time, you will have a library of judgments on various topics. which you will have your own personal library, so that when you start litigation or when you start working anywhere, be it in service matter, be it criminal law, be it family law, you'll at least have your own library, so you don't have to spend so much time researching on the landmark judgments. On latest judgments, yes, you need to keep on reading, you need to keep on researching, but for landmark judgments, you'll have a single diary, single notebook with all the judgments. So if one is curious enough, if one is open enough to learn, there's lots and lots that they could learn and benefit from while working as a law researcher, be it if they want to get into judiciary or into litigation or any aspect.
So basically, the advice is that, one should be curious, open to learning, and आप अपनी खुद की जो है library set कर सकते हो by maintaining a good record
Yes, ma'am.
of all the judgments that you research on. So that's wonderful. Any
Yes,
tip
ma'am.
that you want to give, that the candidate should keep in mind while handling the interview and, standing out as a successful candidate?
One is always to dress sharp while appearing for interviews. This seems like a very small tip, but that is the first impression that you give to the judge or to the interview board. So always dress sharp. Always be thorough with your CV. If you have a research paper, be thorough with what the research paper was about. If you have written anything in your CV, you should know about it. If you've written about your internships, you should remember what all you learned in that internship, or what all were the main areas that you worked on, or the main laws that you covered. So be thorough with your CV. And if you don't know an answer, you should say, I'm sorry, my lord, I'm not aware. Instead of lying, because judges are very good at reading body languages, so they can catch you lying in a second. So there is no point lying that, oh yes, I know everything about service law. It's better to admit your mistake. That is, I think, what they appreciate the most. And be thorough about the basic laws that I think a student who is taking judiciary coaching already knows the basic law, because at the interview stage, they don't ask you about intricate questions or in depth questions, at least for law researchers. They just want to know whether or not you know about the basic law. Keep yourself updated on the latest up- updates that are coming in the law.
So did the coaching help you, Arushi?
Oh, yes, ma'am, definitely during my interview.
Must
And
have
not
given
only
you the
during the interview,
confidence.
yes, ma'am. And not only during the interview, but while I was working also, I think initial 2, 3 months, when we had the criminal roster, so there were bail petitions that were filed.
Mhm.
Because in High Court, usually bail petitions come or NI matters or NDPS matters. So I remember this one time when I had joined, there were interns also at that time. So
Mhm.
they had some confusion regarding the bail process, how the cases have come up to the High Court. So since I had studied with you, I had learned from you about all the bail proceedings and how anticipatory bail, regular bail, all the suspension of
Mhm.
sentence. So I I knew the theoretical knowledge. I had the theoretical knowledge. So while explaining it to them, I could actually see how the process had initiated from the lower judiciary, because all the files are also come. So then I could see how the bail process had initiated from the lower judiciary, how the whether the 60-day period had elapsed for default bail
Mhm.
or not, then how they had come to the High Court. So that, I think, theoretical knowledge you can very easily apply while working as a law researcher.
आई एम श्योर बिकॉज यस जो आप जुडिशरी के लिए तैयारी करते हो वो सिर्फ थेरेटिकल है और जब आप लॉ रिसर्चर के लिए जाते हो तो आप उसी एग्जैक्टली उस चीज को आप प्रैक्टिकली अप्लाई करते हो. Yes, so that
Yes,
is
ma'am.
true. Yes. And what about the tenure? Like, what is the tenure? Is it ad hoc or is it permanent? क्या tenure रहता है law researcher का?
Ma'am, it is contractual position,
Okay.
and the tenure is only for 4 years.
4 years. Okay,
So
that's a
a
good time.
person can work as a law researcher for a maximum period of 4 years, which can be
Okay.
extended on an application to the Chief Justice, but that rarely happens here.
4 साल तक आप कहीं ना
किसी ना
कहीं
किसी
अप्लाई
जज
कर
के साथ
सकते
आप
हो.
कर सकते हो.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am. At least in Punjab and Haryana High Court. I'm not aware about other high courts,
Mhm.
what their tenure is. But in Punjab and Haryana High Court, you can uh, work as a law researcher for up to 4 years and be it under one judge or different judges. There is no bar on that. There are three
Ach-
law researchers allocated to every judge. Two
Acha.
permanent and one not permanent. Matlab two he has to keep, and third is on his discretion. If he feels the requirement for a third law researcher, then he can keep a third one as well.
Acha, great, great. So basically, my point here is that if you are getting a tenure of 4 years, in between those 4 years, आप साथ साथ में जो आपका long term goal है, आप उसको explore कर सकते हो. And this
Yes,
will
ma'am,
help you
definitely.
to carve the paths towards your
Yes,
long
ma'am.
term.
This is sort of like a filler job for
Yes.
uh, launching yourself to the long term goal that you are aiming for.
Absolutely. And it will also help you to enhance your CVs for the long term. चाहे आप
Yes, ma'am.
even if you're going for judiciary, आप इंटरव्यू में भी जाते हैं, आप ये बताते हैं कि आप 3 साल इस ऑनरेबल जस्टिस इन लॉर्डशिप्स के साथ आपने वर्क किया है. सो डेफिनेटली इट्स गोइंग टू ऐड टू योर इंटरव्यू एंड
Hmm.
ऑल्सो टू योर सी. यस.
Yes,
सो
ma'am. Be it
सो
for judiciary or for litigation or in companies or as in-house counsels, this experience will definitely help you and would add a positive light to your CV as well.
यस. एंड जो एक ये भी बात रहती है ना कि यार एलएलबी करने के बाद तो अनएम्प्लॉयड रहते हैं, तो वो मिथ भी दूर हो जाता है बिकॉज यू आर गेटिंग एम्प्लॉयमेंट
Yes, ma'am.
इमिजिएटली विद अ वेरी गुड डिसेंट पैकेज यू नो टू सस्टेन एंड to simultaneously prepare for a long-term goal, right? So,
Yes,
any
ma'am.
last advice that you want to give to the freshers, last bit to apply for this job as a law researcher, Arushi? Just last few lines before we
Yes, ma'am.
close.
So keep on honing your research skills, your analytical skills, and keep your minds open, keep an open outlook towards learning from different sources, and all the best
Oh,
to
that's
everyone.
wonderful. I'm sure it's going to help. This interview is going to help. All your advices are going to help all our viewers. Thank you so much, Arushi, for sharing such valuable insights, for sparing that time with us, and giving those nuggets to all our viewers. I'm sure many of our viewers now much have clearer picture of what a law researcher role is और उसके लिए हमको कैसे अप्लाई करना है और क्यों ये लॉ रिसर्चर की जो जॉब है इट इज सच अ पावरफुल स्टेपिंग स्टोन फॉर अ लीगल करियर. So, everyone watching this episode, remember that opportunities like these are doorways to greater achievements. So, don't miss them out. Stay alert for notifications and start preparing early. See you in the next episode of Law Ke Baad Kya. Thanks a lot once again, Arushi, for being there.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity.
God bless. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.